All right, welcome back to the Onebar and Lupagus show. I'm Onebar with Lupagus, and the man in the middle needs no introduction. Luke Braun from Locked On Vikings in the house. He is going to be just spilling his draft and Vikings knowledge all over us, and we are very excited. Luke, appreciate you hopping on the show, man.
Yeah, man. Good to be on here.
I feel like I need a towel after the introduction, Onebar.
You know what? It had to be done. And yeah, Locked On. I mean, it's on everything. Everybody knows Locked On. You can find it everywhere, even on YouTube, everything. But let's just get into it. Happy draft week, by the way.
Yeah, happy holidays to those who observe.
Holidays. Yes. All right, let's do it. Before we get more into the draft stuff, I kind of just want your overall thought on the Vikings offseason as a whole. And really one question. If you take quarterback out of it, like take losing Kirk Cousins out of the situation, with the additions, losses that the Vikings have done on paper, do you think this is a better team in the 2023 season? Roster, I should say.
No, not really. Maybe equal. Losing Danielle Hunter and replacing him with a bunch of Justa guys is not the way to do it. Who are you scared of on that defensive line right now? There was an answer for about a decade. There was an answer for 2 decades, because before him it was Griffin and Jared Allen and all these guys. For the first time in a long time, the Vikings do not have a defensive lineman that strikes fear into your heart. They've got a bunch of good. Hey, I like Jonathan Grenard. I think he's a good player. I think Van Ginkel's a good player. Harrison Phillips is a good player. But none of these guys are like, oh, we got a game plan for this dude. You lost that. I think you need that back before you can really have a serious pass rush in the NFL. The NFL is not something you can, like, pass rush is not something you can recreate in the aggregate. Like, it's Moneyball. You need a person that causes problems. And we have a whole bunch of people that enable others to cause problems. And I kind of think Brian Flores is just going to have to scheme it all up again. Shaq Griffin doesn't really move me. I guess a corner room with him is better than a corner room without him, but I don't know about like significantly. I would say I like Blake Cashman more than I liked Jordan Hicks. So maybe I'll give you that, but it's like marginal things with this like major issue at pass rush, and the offense didn't change a lot, and they don't have a left guard. So no, I don't think this is a better team. I think that they, for the last 2 years, have allowed the roster to get worse in order to give them the flexibility to do what they need to do at quarterback, which is what we're going to see this year. So if that is what it takes to get us the guy, then okay, I get what you're going for, but let's not delude ourselves. The Vikings have been deteriorating.
That's why we brought Luke on. He's giving us the business. We appreciate it. It's beautiful. Let's go.
Feeling good. Well, you mentioned left guard in there. So are you a Blake Brandel believer, or is there any chance to be an adequate starter?
I love him as a backup. I think as a starter, I want to see more consistency, I guess. He'll get the chance to compete for that, and I think that's awesome. I think he has earned a chance to like go out and try to earn that job. But to anoint him with it and say, as long as you beat Dan Feeney, you got it, is a little much for me. I hope that they add a guard. I hope I still am kind of holding out hope for Reisner. I would love to see him back. I think that he's gotten to the point where there's probably more money in the market for him if he waits till after the draft because of compensatory pick stuff. So it makes sense for him to wait till after the draft. And I hope the Vikings are still in that bidding war when it does happen.
I got a really important question. So every time Lupagus says Brandel, he says Brandel. He gets his twang going. I want your opinion. Is it Blake
Brandel?
God, I've been wrong my entire life. I was really hoping for.
I do put a southern twang on. I don't know why. He
always just says Brandel, and he gets into it.
I'm relating to you a lot. That reaction, that visceral reaction when you find out you've been wrong about something for a long time. Yeah, I feel that.
I'm wrong about a lot of things. Hey,
I still wish the
Vikings would have drafted Jimmy Clausen. So let's talk quarterbacks quick. So just out of the big boys, the top 4 quarterback. Well, take Caleb Williams out of it, but
sure.
The realistic options for quarterbacks for the Vikings if they trade up. Who's the one that's day one ready? Where maybe not long term he's the best guy, but the guy that could step in right out of the gates and just make an impact.
To me, that's Jaden Daniels. I know that's kind of a hot take. I know a lot of people have May above him, but to me, that's Jaden Daniels. I think the way he works in the pocket, the way his feet operate, the mechanics of everything require very little editing. And I think the way for him to grow is to just teach him how to be comfortable in the pocket and comfortable kind of throwing on the run and stuff. But that's not something you have to bench a guy for, right? Like that's a guy who's ready to start getting reps, maybe have some growing pains, but ready to start getting reps. And I think JJ McCarthy also ready to start getting reps. He doesn't have the deep ball, but you don't bench him over that, right? You don't keep him out and say, you can't play until you throw a deep ball. No, you put him in and he misses some and you learn from it, and that's going to be how we go. Drake May is the guy I would say most could benefit from time on the bench because of the way he responds to pressure. He doesn't keep his feet wide. He doesn't keep his throwing stance when he moves. You watch JJ McCarthy move in the pocket, his feet will stay wide. He'll keep his throwing stance. And that's why you're hearing, in my opinion, at least, that's why you're hearing, some teams have McCarthy over May. Oh my goodness. What could that be about? It's about his feet. It's the feet. Look at the feet. But with May, he'll like abandon his throwing base at the first sign of trouble. And that's a habit you want to get him out of before you put him in front of NFL defensive lines that are going to show him a lot of trouble. and he's going to just fall back into that habit until you break it out of him.
Nice. So looking at this Minnesota Vikings roster as they head into the draft, what's an underrated need in your opinion that maybe isn't getting enough talk going on?
Is it weird if I say edge rusher? I know they got the 2 free agents, but like they still need, everybody's talking tackle, right? And if you just like stuck at 11, right? If the quarterback thing goes belly up and you just have to sit and stick and pick at 11, and everybody's talking about Byron Murphy or Johnny Newton or whoever's both of those guys will probably be available looking at what the teams in front of them need. But like, I still kind of think an edge rusher is like really important. I still think corner is really important. Like the free agents they fill the hole, but you're not excited about them. So I'm still looking at those positions. And maybe since free agency, they've gotten underrated, even though they were like the biggest needs by far going in. Like, I don't think that they've done enough to assuage those concerns.
When it comes to the NFL draft, I mean, you dig into players. I mean, you really dig into these guys as far as, what they can do, what they bring to the table. What's one thing year in and year out? Like you see all these cliche things where that's a knock on a player. Like they got short arms, limited route running.
You're going to get me going.
I just want to know, like, what's the one that you really stick to? Like if this type of prospect has this limitation, like he's not going to pan out. Do you have one that just really is just kind of a hard no for you?
So
it could be for
look
any
for
position,
habits.
any player, whatever.
Yeah. So I look for habits, and then all the other stuff is context, right? Like arm length and age and all that other stuff is context for habits. If you have really sloppy habits, if you're a quarterback and you're really sloppy at reading the field, you're turning down all these open receivers and you're missing stuff, and you're not seeing safeties that are lurking, and quarters poach, which is like made to like trick the quarterback into throwing an interception. You get tricked by that a lot. If you're old and that is happening to you, it's way more concerning than if you're, Trey Lance and it's game 19 for you. It's like, okay, that can happen a little bit. You're still learning some stuff. And that was like the big story of Trey Lance was, he's an unknown, all this bad stuff. It doesn't count because he's young. Maybe we went a little too far with that. But like an older this is what got me going with Hendon Hooker last year. Hendon Hooker, older prospect. He'd be one hopping, quick game. He'd be one hopping like bubble screens. Like, you can't be doing that if you've been playing for as long as you've been playing. You have to be better than that by this point. So it's all that stuff is context. Arm length for somebody that does have shorter arms as an edge rusher. Well, if they're like a guy that uses long arm a lot, which is a way to pass rush, it's a way to run defend. Essentially, one arm is longer than two, right? If you reach out with one arm, you're going to get further than if you're reaching out with two arms. So if they use long arm a lot, well, yeah, that's because they probably, if they can't win with two arms because their arms aren't short enough, they got to make themselves longer. Okay, now I have a better understanding of why that guy does that. And if he's really good at it, then I go, okay, well, I'm not really concerned about his arms anymore because he kind of has his own solution to his problem, like baked into the cake. So I think that stuff is context, but I'm really looking for habits. I'm looking for what that guy does every single rep, his stance, his footwork, those kinds of things will tell me a lot more about a prospect than just like what happened on his highlight plays.
This is beautiful. Thank you.
That was good. So if you're the GM, put your suit coat on, you're in the war room. What are you doing in round one, GM of the Vikings, Luke Braun?
Oh, I'm calling New England with my credit card and social security number on file right in front of me. I'm walking into New England with a gift basket and I'll put lingerie on Do whatever you need, Elliot. Let's go. Get me to 3.
Wow. Yeah,
Yeah.
That's all you need. You don't even have to give up any picks.
I'm walking in seductively. Oh yeah, I'm walking in like something you would send to an ancient Greek city you're trying to stop a war with. I'm trying to get to 3. Like, look, I like JJ McCarthy a lot, but I like Drake May a lot. Give me this guy. And if it's Jaden Daniels, that's even better.
Nice. Is there a price tag too high for you to get up to 3?
So I get to ask this a lot, and then I start going through the math, and it's like they have 4 first-round picks that they can legally trade. They've got the 2 this year, and then next year and the year after. I would probably be all right if that's what it had to be to get to 3 to get to Drake May. I would make my peace with that. And then they don't really have anything else. So like they kind of run out of steam before it gets to like this is too much and I can't do it. Like at least for me. But then you're talking about like 3rd round picks 2 years from now. Those don't really have any value right now. They're too deferred to have value. So they won't move the needle. If those 4 don't get it done, nothing's getting it done. And if they do get it done, then I'm good with that.
I'm still picturing you struggling.
Yeah.
I just like I'm done. It's sold.
I got the vibe that this would be the weird kind of show that would be into a metaphor like that.
Yeah, you were absolutely correct.
You did well. You did well.
I hope you're wearing that.
That's gonna be the graphic on the image. You in lingerie.
Let's go.
Give me your thoughts. If the Vikings just for some reason end up staying at 11-23. And they were to get Bo Nix at 23. Give me I want to hear your Bo Nix thought, just very high level.
They probably picked the wrong quarterback then. If Penix is out, they're picking the 6th QB off the board. They're lighting the pick off on fire. To me, Bo Nix is like a late day 2 guy. It's not just because Oregon's offense did a bunch of quick game. I actually don't mind that at all. I think that's fine. Quick game happens in the NFL too. You want to see how he operates when he has to be, really efficient with his footwork and when he has to read things pre-snap. That's all very NFL-y stuff. And I actually like the way he does that. But there is just this talent deficient issue. So he never drives the ball. He never zips it, right? Everything is layery and touch. And that's because I don't think he has the arm strength to zip it. That's at least my guess for why he always, even on situations where he has to get the ball there quickly, the ball will not get there quickly. And I don't know if he can. So he's making up for it by putting nice touch over everything and trying to get it over defenders that he knows will have time to get there. That's a fine solution to the problem, but obviously that's going to put a big giant ceiling on what you can accomplish in the NFL. So I was on another show they asked like what I think his trajectory is. I think this is a Mac Jones situation where he can actually maybe show up and play right away. Cause he's older, he's experienced, he knows what he's doing. But I don't know if he keeps that job long-term. Like, I think that's he shows up as a rookie. He can get in there and actually start and have a productive season, but eventually the deficiencies just catch up to you. And, you get in your head once like Mac Jones did and you fall apart. And it's one of those things where, he's not making it to the end of his rookie deal before he gets traded for a 5th to somebody that needs a backup quarterback.
Oh, God. All right. A couple quick hitters to end it. I got one. So if the Vikings do end up sticking and picking 11-23, let's say they get like a Byron Murphy and a Nate Wiggins, whoever, like a combo like that. Is that just should Vikings fans be irate? Is that justified?
I don't know about irate because it probably wasn't at that point. It was out of the Vikings' control. I think anybody who has reported or listened to these reports will confirm this. They're doing everything they can. They are trying really hard. And if it doesn't get done, that wasn't the Vikings' choice. So the Vikings would be like kind of apoplectic there. Like if they're sitting there at 11-23, yeah, we got a couple defenders, but they will not have gotten what they wanted out of this. And they'll be disappointed about that. We can be disappointed about that. And maybe you can just be really excited about some defensive talent and hope that Brian Flores can scheme up something really cool. But then, yeah, we've got one quarterback under contract in 2025, and that's Jaren Hall. Yeah, that's not a good situation. And probably that means you're going into day 3 looking at like Michael Pratt or something like that. And you're trying to hope that you like Sam Howell this, which is not good when that's like the good outcome.
That'd be horrible. That'd be absolutely horrible. What are your plans for draft day? What do you got going on show-wise?
Sure.
What are you doing?
I'll be live somewhere on YouTube, either on Locked On Vikings or Locked On Minnesota Sports. We have to kind of put that plan together. But yeah, I'll be live somewhere, and then when the Vikings do pick, whether it's at 11 or earlier, I gotta jump and make a whole bunch of little clips and shorts and stuff for the network, and then from there, maybe I'll jump back live if the draft is still going on, and hang out a little bit. So hopefully you'll be able to get at me, but otherwise, yeah, I'll be glued to everything.
Nice.
No, that is fantastic. Luke, we greatly appreciate it. You know, you're
Very
busy as hell today, this whole damn week. Check out Locked On Vikings. I'm sure you already have, but Luke, appreciate it, man.
Yeah, appreciate you guys.
Yeah, thanks a lot, bud.